The Dutch elections are proving fascinating, not least because, despite being the most popular party, every mainstream political group has refused to work with the PVV in a coalition. Wilders did enter government in a support role after the election of 2010, forming the minority government of the VVD and the CDA, but then withdrew support, souring relations further. As CDA leader Sivram Buma said, Wilders picks fights with everyone. If you look at what he has said about us in the past, it does not exactly make you want to work with him. Indeed, it wouldn't be a first in Dutch politics for the biggest party to be excluded from government. This happened in 1982, when the PVDA, the Labour Party, was the biggest party but excluded from government nonetheless. Despite everything, Wilders seems confident that someone will, when the time comes, commit to forming a government with him. Where this will come from will remain unpredictable. All the more so as there are a total of 28 parties competing in these elections, making the prospect of a 4 or even 5-party government increasingly likely. This video will overview exactly who some of the smaller, lesser known of these parties are, and how much support they are likely to get. Interest groups for the elderly population aren't exactly novel, and this election isn't unique in that sense. Back in 1994, the General Elderly Alliance was founded. This was done so in response to the CDA, the Christian Democratic Appeal, one of the incumbent parties vowing to cut pensions in their election campaign. The Union 55 Plus were also in existence from 1992 onwards, and were also a single-issue party. In the 1994 elections, they together won a total of 7 seats. Both parties then descended into bitter infighting, collapsed, and, well, that was the end of that. Here's Jan Nagel. No stranger to politics, Nagel had been involved with the Dutch Labour Party since the 1960s and pushed the party in a more leftward direction. After distancing himself from politics for a bit, he went on to found Livable Hilversum in 1993, a locally based movement that sought to increase direct democracy, focus on local issues, and transcend the division of left and right. Other groups throughout the country replicated this model, and numerous local livable parties were founded that eventually became centralized in the form of a Livable Netherlands party. Nagel selected leader of the Rotterdam group to lead the party, Pim Fortuyn, who I've covered in my video profiling Geert Wilders. Long story short, Fortuyn started voicing concerns over Islam. Nagel disagreed with his direction and fired Fortuyn from the party. Fortuyn founded his own party, Pim Fortuyn List, which decimated Livable Netherlands in the 2002 elections, and the party dissolved. Jan Nagel founded 50 Plus in 2011. In the 2012 general election, the party won 2 seats. This year it seems likely that they'll get around 10. The party is kind of populist in a way. They position the elderly as an underrepresented and undermined class. Now party leader Hen Pale said the elderly have reason to face their future with fear and trembling if 50 Plus scores poorly in this election. Policy-wise, the party wants to reduce the retirement age, provide tax incentives for families that have their parents live with them, have a designated number of seats on public transport for the elderly, etc. They also want to reduce online anonymity, penalise illegal downloading, increase funds given to internet police, and reduce immigration. In regards to the controversial party of Geert Wilders, the PVV, 50 Plus has expressed a willingness to work with them, provided they agree to decrease the retirement age and liberalise their policy on refugees. Hen Pale posited refusing to work with the PVV will only increase the PVV's vote share. Pale said this would be a negative thing, and thus integrating the PVV into normal political processes is a way to cut support for the party. Ethnic minority populations have had political representation via the mainstream political parties, most notably in this instance the Labour Party. What they haven't had, however, is a party elaborating explicitly on their perceived interests as a group. Both Denk and Article 1 fill this electoral space. The Netherlands has a roughly 10% non-European population, and both Denk and Article 1 aim to mobilise these groups. Denk, literally meaning think, was founded in 2014 by 2 former Labour politicians of Turkish origin. Both left the party over disagreements regarding national surveillance of Muslims. The party within its first year acquired over 1,000 members and thus became eligible for state funding. The party calls for a national register of racism that monitors racist rhetoric of elected officials and would subsequently ban such officials from holding office. They also want the construction of a Dutch slavery museum and the banning of black peat. The latter is a very contentious issue in the Netherlands, and debate over the character has become emblematic of broader concerns over Dutch identity. A boom came to the party with the arrival of Sylvana Simons, a Dutch news anchor and former MTV presenter, which massively increased the party's recognition. Previously openly critical of the black peat tradition, Simons received waves upon waves of abuse following her endorsement of Denk. Although this involvement was short-lived, Simons left Denk during the Christmas of 2016. Her reasons were that she wanted to broaden her political appeal and focus on other issues such as gay rights and employment practices. Simons has stated that Denk haven't been receptive to this vision. Denk looks to be set to gain 1 or 2 seats. Simons has since founded Article 1, a party similar to Denk but with a broader platform. It seems unlikely to win any seats. Although both these parties are small, they do pose a problem for the Labour Party, who are losing votes from ethnic minority constituents. Party for the Animals is the only party to be elected to a national parliament on the platform of animal rights, and honestly can be seen as an exemplar for what a pressure party can achieve. The party doesn't aspire for government, but rather to exert pressure on governments to enact policies. In the party's 15-year lifespan, they've been able to get the government to invest €6 million in meat alternatives, pledge to reduce national meat consumption, ban fish bowls, and improve conditions of animal transportation throughout the EU. Even Geert Wilders has backed the idea of forming specialised anti-animal cruelty police forces. Once controversy in 2011 emerged as the Party for Animals claimed slaughtering animals without stunning was inhumane. This essentially came down to a proposed ban on halal and kosher slaughter and was taken to vote in the parliament. In the end, the bill gained cross-party support and passed, but for some reason was never implemented. I've been unable to find out why, so if you know, please comment and tell me. The issue remained contentious though, and in 2016 the government vowed that by 2017 the export of ritually slaughtered meat will be banned, clearly labelled, and abattoirs will require a licence to conduct it. The party already has 2 seats in the parliament and 10,000 members since its founding in 2002. They seem likely to earn 3 to 4% of the vote. Italy's 5-star movement is a good example of how technology is being used to reform the democratic process. Why would you bother with representative democracy when citizens can participate more directly via the internet? Well, the Dutch have their own direct democracy party, namely Hen Pale. Hen Pale have their origins in the online blog Hen Pale, meaning literally no class, which engages in hoaxes and politically incorrect commentary. They were largely responsible for the 2015 Dutch referendum on a treaty between Ukraine and the EU. On the 1st of July 2015, a new law was passed in the Netherlands that allowed for non-binding public referendums to be undertaken, provided enough signatures were required to warrant it. On the announcement of the EU treaty with the Ukraine, Hen Pale got to amassing signatures to call for a national referendum. Surprisingly, they achieved the required 300,000 signatures and the referendum occurred. Numerous groups campaigned for the Vote No campaign, including the PVV, the Party for the Animals, for the Netherlands, and those associated with Hen Pale. Although the turnout was low at 32%, the majority voted no at 62%. Mark Rutte, the incumbent Prime Minister of the Netherlands, agreed that this result must be taken into consideration, but was considerably slow in taking action. In response to this, a political party was launched as an offshoot of Hen Pale. Should also maybe be noted that as of February 2017, accusations of fraud regarding the initial 300,000 signatures acquired by Hen Pale are rampant. Whether this will impact the weighting given to the referendum results remains to be seen. Hen Pale has at its core the concept of direct democracy, its name a take on the original name of the Hen Pale website plus the Dutch word for polling. The party has pledged to set up a smartphone application that enables all party supporters to vote on each individual bill that passes through the parliament, and MPs are obliged to vote in parliament accordingly. Frontman Jan Dijkgraaf stated, "We are not a movement of angry citizens, we are not the umpteenth right-wing splinter party, stop with the left and right, it's about top and bottom." It seems unlikely the party will get any seats, and I've been unable to find much polling information related to their performance, so if you've got any, as always, let me know. For the Netherlands were founded in 2014 by two members of Wilders' PVV. They currently have 2 seats in parliament, both of which were earned under the PVV. In August of 2016, popular reporter of the website Hen Pale joined the party and became its leader. They have cemented allegiances with UKIP, with Nigel Farage giving talks to the party and its supporters throughout the No Referendum campaign. They support a flat tax, small government, classical liberalism, reduced immigration and an EU referendum. They are likely to receive at least a seat. There is also a similar party, Forum for Democracy. It's possible that they will receive a seat also. There are more, of course. As stated, 28 parties are registered for this election. I have only mentioned 7 in this video, but I wanted to focus on the smaller and more obscure segments of the electoral space. There are 5 mid-sized parties that have evaded this video: the Christian Democratic Appeal, Democrat 66, Green Links, Christian Union and the Reformed Party, who together comprise about 40% of the vote. How on earth these coalitions will be formed with such a fractured political landscape remains to be seen. Of course, the most popular party, as stated, is the PVV, according to polling data. Without coalition partners, though, they will be blocked from government, and the majority of the mainstream, including the incumbent VVD, have vowed that coalition is completely off the cards. Perhaps the key, then, to their success lies in the proliferation of these smaller parties. Together, they wield not inconsiderable electoral clout. That's why, for the PVV to get anywhere, regardless of how successful they are in terms of vote, they need the support of at least some of these parties. Whether or not they'll get it is another question entirely. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you would like to keep up to date with the French and Dutch elections going on in Europe this year, please do hit the subscribe button. There is much more information coming. If you enjoyed the video, please do click like. If you didn't, click dislike and leave a comment and contribute to the discussion. Huge thank you to all of my patrons, and please do consider supporting me via Patreon if it is within your means to do so. If not, please do continue watching the videos and supporting me. I really do appreciate it. Until next time.